it was always going to be thus. And it was, do you know, Jonathan, it was prophesied that at the time when the peace be upon him, the Prophet Muhammad, his companions would ask him, when would the last days come? And he said it would happen when a land that was half in the sea and half in the land would fall to people who would proclaim to be Muslim, but wouldn't be, and it would come about 70,000 to 80,000 from Sardinia or Salonika or something like that. I can't remember. I always get confused with these islands, and they would proclaim Islam, and the walls would fall, and they would acquire the booty. And I give you Kemal Ataturk, who was from a Zionist background, who, if you look at the Grand Oriental Masonic lodges that grew and started in Constantinople and all about the Middle East, similar to what happened with the Masonic lodges that sprung up, as I say, around St. Petersburg, Moscow, and all that. And then it was an attack on both the Russian Orthodox Christian Caliphate, which was very strong, the murdering of over 10 million Christians under Stalin. And then you look what happened, from the Balfour Declaration to the absolute assassination of the Palestinian people, and then creating what Britain called, after the First World War, the Sykes-Picot, where they sliced the desert and they found the most corruptible leaders, the House of Saud. You see the remnants are still sitting there, where they installed puppet leaders, and the problems that stemmed away back for 100 years. But what I was just getting to, Jonathan, let you back in, bro, was that it was prophesied that they would have 100-year rule, and the system would be of the one eye, the Dajjal, the false prophet, the 100-year, and it was prophesied that and people, as I say, asked, the Prophet what would happen, how would it come, and he said, well, the last days would not come, or the very last days would not come until the falling of the land, half in the sea, half in the land, which Constantinople. And at the time that was part of the Byzantine Empire, or whatever it was, I think, way back then, and the Romans, whatever. Well, it was always took over, but they didn't know that at one point that would be the Islamic Caliphate, because you're looking away, years in the future. But obviously that was where the centre of it was, the Islamic Caliphate. So he predicted more or less, well, the end would come when the people would acquire that city and proclaim Islam, as Kemal Ataturk did. He banned his headscarf, he banned everything about Islam, made it a secular nation, stopped all the teaching about Islam. And then it would be, after 6 years, there would be called what would be a great war. And then within 1 year, the Dajjal would rise, and for 100 years, the one-eyed system would rule the earth, where a series of wars and plagues, famines, disasters that the world has never seen. And then we're close to the 100 years being up, Jonathan, in another year, obviously.
Yeah.
It's heavy times, mate, and I'm saying this just now, and I'll finish now, and I've spoke to another good brother about it off air, but many Islamic people have been having dreams, and that was also part of it. Said that people will have these dreams about what would happen, almost vivid dreams of many things that would happen, calamities that would happen on earth, and many of these people have been having these dreams. And first of all, it started a few weeks ago or a few months ago with people, kind of spreading texts, and people were saying, to their imams, is this true? Is this true? We've heard about this and now it's happening. Is this true? And it's just recently, right, Jonathan, get this, the imam in the Glasgow Mosque confirmed that these dreams have been confirmed with people who are very, very, very pious people who sit and pray for hours and days on end, fasting, and are very, 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 very pious people. And a lot of people are having these terrible nightmares, but not dreams, you'd call it a nightmare if you had something like. But it's heavy times, Jonathan, and when they're messing about with Syria, and the final bit I'll say is, it's been prophesied that Isa bin Maria would return in Damascus, of all places, Damascus, at a time of terrible strife. And if you've seen any pictures out of Syria, Jonathan, it's a bloody disaster zone. Where is he? He's gone. Come back, brother, come back.
Hello?
Yeah. I don't know what part you got up to there, Jonathan.
Well, just as you were about to mention something unusual happened. It's the phone cut off saying that network was busy. That's never happened to me before during a call. I suspect that there may be dark forces out there who want to prevent me from finding out what you have to say.
Well, I just
Seriously.
I carried on. Well, what I was saying is many people have been having these nightmares, dreams, and it's been confirmed by Islamic scholars. And the Imam in the Glasgow Central Mosque has said that, you know, this is indeed not rumour and it's not hearsay and it's not out to frighten people, that many pious people have been noted across the world for having these dreams that have been prophesied, and they're having really vivid dreams of things that are, you know, they're being prophesied about. But anyway, and it doesn't help, Jonathan, when you look at the situation in the world with all the war and the way it's been culminating, and it's definitely the system of the one eye is in the heartland. The heartland is basically Scotland. These people were spared. These people were spared being executed at the time by, I think it was Pope. I can't remember, the name's not coming to me. Pope Urban. One of the popes. I can't remember. But back when the Crusades happened, and Jack de Morley, the leader, he was burnt at the stake, and they fled to Scotland, and they were given sanctuary under Robert the Bruce.
I think you're referring to possibly the Templars.
Yeah, the Knights Templars. Yeah, and that's how they get the Scottish rights and the York rights. And I mean, this is our homeland, mate. You look at Scotland. There's more lodges than anywhere else in this place. You know what I mean? You go to London. London is a heartland as well, mate. If you look at the amount of lodges all over the place there.
Well, there's a lodge right opposite St Paul's Cathedral.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. And tell us the time you went down there. I remember you've shared this with us before. When did you go down there? It was the time of the Occupy stuff.
It was about. I can remember the exact day, 25th of October, 2011. For some reason, I felt the urge to go to London that day, and I booked the tickets about a month in advance, long before the Occupy stuff became public knowledge. And as I was coming back through the city, I stopped off at the Occupy camp, and it was a very enlightening experience. But although I was there a short time, I already knew that the Occupy movement would ultimately fail, because it had been hijacked by people who had no real interest in changing things. They were more like controlled opposition, and that did dishearten me a little bit, and it doesn't really.
Stay there and I'll phone you back, eh? Yes, there is dark forces about. His calls just dropped there.
They're playing out. But
the dark forces
we haven't heard any
tonight, mate. But don't worry.
You have knowledge to impart, Tommy. That's the thing.
Crack on, mate. You impart it. Fuck the lot, Uncle.
Yeah, but it doesn't surprise me that Occupy have disappeared as a movement, because it was apparently funded by George Soros, promoted by George Soros, the same person who's been stirring up the Nazis in Ukraine to cause mischief and trouble. I mean, they recently announced a provisional government for Ukraine, and it contains about 11 or 12 Nazis, led by a supposedly more moderate politician. Well, that doesn't exactly fill me with confidence when you consider that when he was first appointed as Chancellor, Hitler had only 4 Nazis in his cabinet, and one of those was an aristocrat who joined the party the very day he was appointed Hitler's foreign minister. So if you can imagine 3 Nazis hijacking a whole country and building an empire of evil, just imagine what 11 or 12 Ukrainian Nazis can do.
But you see, you identified there, these people are getting paid by someone, whether it's Soros or whoever. And so you look at the Nazis, there wasn't just 3 guys with just a wicked idea. This was implanted in them. This was paid, bought for and controlled. This didn't happen by chance. There's no such thing as coincidence in the world of politics out there.
No, only the illusion of it.
Only the illusion. Things happen for a reason, and if people get killed, it's not an accident. It's fucking by design. It's all bullshit with these bastards. So if a leader in our country dies, then you'll soon find later on there's been a coup d'etat. He's been poisoned, God rest El Presidente Chavez. He's a year since he sadly passed away. God bless him. And anyway, crack on.
Well,
I just remembered.
Funny you should mention Chavez, because his political hero, Bolivar, was himself a Freemason.
Uh-huh.
So, it just goes to show you.
It's all controlled, mate. It's all controlled. Even the people that you think that are going to be standing up and doing stuff and doing good stuff. But he did. There's one thing, even no matter what about Chavez, if anything bad was to come out, that it could be proved that he was part of the New World Order or whatever, then he did some good stuff for his people, and he did inspire his people. So whether he was part of the...
And you can make the same argument of Putin. Look at what Putin's done in the last year or so. Yeah. He gave Edward Snowden sanctuary. If it hadn't been Edward Snowden, we wouldn't have confirmed what we already knew, that the governments of the world are spying on us on an industrial scale.
Yeah.
And also, he prevented a war in Syria.
But then, how about the fact, just come back before we jump onto that one, how about maybe possibly the fact that Snowden managed to get to where he is, and now he's sitting there with his friend old Putty, and he's letting out these secrets, and it's just shown to the world what us crackpots already knew. But then what that does, right, for us, it doesn't. Well, if you already knew it, then it doesn't matter. But for people who are just finding us out, it puts a fucking fear of God in them. I'm sitting here with sellotape over my camera about 2 or 3 times over. I've set my computer up that unless I've got my mic in it, right, the fucking thing won't pick up any sound. So I'm covering myself. There's other things you can do as well, but how many people wouldn't have thought of that? And so think of all these people using Yahoo, pulling their plonker, showing their fucking muff to whoever, and it's all on there in fucking Yahoo or whatever, and that's just the ones we know about. So, you've got...
Yeah, well, I've recently got a new computer that has one of these cameras, and I know full well what's going on. The only reason I haven't covered up my camera is because I am considering making my own YouTube videos.
But look, you just take that fucking thing off then when it needs done. It's part of the it's built in the camera. Yeah, but you still put where the lens is. You put a thing over it, and then you just wipe it off. You just wipe it off, mate. Cover it up right away. If you're online, have you got the internet in your house yet?
No, I haven't got internet in the house.
Yeah, no. Yeah, no, we'll cover it up, even when you're out and about, mate.
Yeah.
There's a dirty bastards, mate. You could be sitting in there, and they could be sitting in there listening to you, watching you. And there's fucking animals, mate. What kind of sick society is this?
Yeah, I'm well aware of this.